All right, let's jump straight into it. Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we are looking at an absolutely transformative concept from Steve Chandler's incredible book, 100 Ways to Motivate Yourself, Change Your Life Forever. And specifically, we're zeroing right in on Rule 36, which is all about how you can unlock your own internal motivation through the power of strategic curiosity. Chandler makes this really fascinating argument that to truly change your life, you need to learn how to be a good detective. It's a massive paradigm shift, and honestly, I am so thrilled to break this down for you today and show you how just asking the right questions can literally change everything. So here is our quick roadmap for the Explainer today. First up, we'll hit 1, the preparation trap. Then 2, think like a detective. After that, 3, the secret to winning, followed by 4, the Columbo technique, and we'll wrap the whole thing up with 5, the ultimate relationship builder. All right, kicking things off with section 1, the preparation trap, and exactly why we so frequently get our meetings wrong. Okay, picture this. You've got an important interaction coming up. It's totally natural, right? Most of us fall right into this trap. We spend all our time preparing our answers. We rehearse exactly what we're going to say. We're meticulously polishing up those presentations just to make sure we sound, incredibly smart and super capable. But Steve Chandler points out a massive, fundamental flaw in this approach. Actually, scratch that whole routine. Instead of prepping answers, we should be preparing our questions. We need to be actively cultivating our curiosity. And why is that? Well, it's because we consistently overlook a basic truth of human nature. The person sitting across from you, whether that's a client, a coworker, a friend, they would much rather talk than listen to you. They desperately want to feel heard and understood. They definitely don't want to just be lectured at. Moving right along to section 2, think like a detective. This is the art of strategic curiosity. The crucial thing here is that you need to actively change your persona. Chandler advises that whenever you step into a meeting, you should mentally cast yourself as this friendly, maybe slightly bumbling private detective. And here's the exact 3-step behavioral shift you need to make. Step 1, ask questions. Simply put, never walk into a room at a loss for questions to ask. Step 2, you gotta listen closely and then ask follow-up questions based directly on what they just told you. And step 3, let those answers make you even more genuinely curious. Let them naturally suggest an entirely new set of questions. Chandler promises that if you adopt this specific sequence, there's no way it won't make the other person feel incredibly valued. Plus, it organically motivates you. You'll find yourself hitting much higher levels of actual, genuine interest in the conversation. You turn what could have been a totally boring meeting into this highly engaging investigation. Which brings us to section 3, the secret to winning, and how this curiosity actually lands the contract. Now, if you're in the business world, you know this for sure. Prospective customers who are contracting for long-term services, they don't just want another vendor. They want a partner who is truly invested in them. They want a consultant who deeply, truly understands their specific pain points. So how do you actually outlearn your competitors to win that business? It is all about your questions. While the competition is in there talking nonstop about themselves and how great they are, you take a completely different route. First, you ask the most thoughtful questions you can to show genuine interest. Second, you use those follow-up questions based specifically on their answers to prove you actually get their world. And third, you rely on the sheer inventiveness and quantity of the questions you prepared. By making the client the absolute center of the universe, you rapidly build trust. Chandler makes it crystal clear here. Your curiosity is the exact thing that wins the business. But, and this is a big but, you cannot just wing this. You can't just stroll into a room, rely on some impulsive, on-the-spot questioning, and just hope inspiration magically strikes. Being prepared is the whole secret. Prepping your questions is actually way more important than prepping the slick presentation of your services. Chandler shares this fantastic insight from the legendary former Indiana basketball coach Bobby Knight, who always said the will to win is not as important as the will to prepare to win. To really be a good detective, true strategic curiosity requires deep, deliberate preparation before you ever even set foot in the room. All right, section 4, the Columbo technique. Let's talk about disarming people through curiosity. When you prepare your curiosity intensely, like we just talked about, you magically always seem to have one more brilliant question up your sleeve. Chandler likens this approach to the classic TV character L.T. Columbo. Played masterfully by Peter Falk, Columbo was an absolute masterclass in this exact technique. Just picture him. He's wearing that rumpled old trench coat, holding a cigar, his hair's a total mess. He intentionally acted like a disorganized, innocently charming guy who would just ask about the tiniest, seemingly irrelevant little things. And by doing that, he would completely disarm his prime suspects, who were usually these wealthy, super arrogant criminals, just by hitting them with a barrage of what felt like impromptu questions. And his absolute secret weapon? Right when the suspect thought they were in the clear and Columbo was leaving, he'd pause at the door. He'd turn around, kind of absent-mindedly, and say, "Excuse me, sir, would it inconvenience you if I asked you just one more question?" It looked totally off the cuff, but it was highly prepared, razor-sharp curiosity that literally solved the case every single time. Now, I know exactly what some of you might be thinking right now. You're saying, well, what if I don't sell for a living? Does this whole detective routine even apply to me? It's super easy to mistakenly think this strategy is only for high-stakes corporate sales pitches. But Steve Chandler stops us right there. He brings in this great quote from Robert Louis Stevenson: "Everybody lives by selling something." This concept isn't just for the boardroom guys. If you're about to have a really important conversation with your spouse, or maybe you're trying to break through to your teenager, it is incredibly useful to prepare your curiosity rather than preparing some stern lecture. The greatest relationship builders out there, they know that the sale, and by that I mean the emotional connection, the mutual understanding, the agreement, that sale almost always goes to the most interested party in the room. The sheer quantity and quality of your questions is what actually measures your true level of interest. And that leads us perfectly into Section 5, the ultimate relationship builder, where we talk about creating those connections instantly. To really hammer home how deeply this impacts us, Chandler references an amazing anecdote from Richard Saul Wurman's book, Follow the Yellow Brick Road. It's about this brilliant physicist, Isidore Isaac Rabi. Back in the 1930s, Rabi won a Nobel Prize for inventing a groundbreaking technique that finally allowed scientists to accurately probe the structure of atoms and molecules. I mean, it was a monumental, world-changing success that helped pave the way for modern physics as we know it today. But here's the kicker. Rabi's incredible success didn't come from having an encyclopedic memory of all the answers. It came entirely from questions. Rabi actually attributed his massive, historic success in physics directly to his mother. And you know why? It was all because of the unique way she used to greet him when he came home from school every single day. While all the other moms in the neighborhood were asking their kids, "Hey, did you learn anything today?" or "Did you get good grades?" his mother asked a totally different question. She would ask, "Did you ask any good questions today, Isaac?" Think about that. That simple, beautiful daily shift in focus completely programmed his young mind for deep, relentless scientific curiosity. And this brings us right to Chandler's ultimate takeaway. When you take the initiative to ask questions, you are doing something incredibly powerful. You create the relationship instantly. You become completely self-motivated in that interaction. You don't just sit back passively waiting for the other person to steer the conversation, and you definitely don't wait around for someone else to try and motivate you. You are taking active control of your own engagement, simply by choosing to put on the trench coat and be the detective. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought, echoing Rabi's mother. As you step away from this explainer and into literally your very next interaction, whether it's a huge high-stakes business meeting, a casual chat with your partner, or just sitting around the dinner table with your kids, ask yourself, did you ask any good questions today? Don't prep your presentation, prep your curiosity. It honestly might just change your life forever. Thank you so much for joining me today to explore Steve Chandler's brilliant insights on motivating yourself. Until next time, stay curious.